best start back for defense and getting the puck back. So these are NHL numbers. I would tell you shots inside the house going into 73%, outside at 27%. There's just going to be a little bit of fact going on there where I want to get to. Slide's really effective, in my opinion. Like, you can see the proximity to the cage. How the puck got there is a non-delivery. We're not really talking about that yet. We will, though, hard. Where we can get to, like, can I get a pass into here? Can I penetrate into here? But as the outliers and the layers go out, the percentage of goals and opportunities go down. And I think when we get into those scenarios, one of the biggest things in the world you hear is a person out there yelling, shoot. We don't even have the puck yet, but they're yelling, shoot. And I appreciate them saying shoot, because you do have to score. But I'd rather shoot at the clearest path possible. The next message that I would love to talk about is Royal Road. Royal Road being a puck that switches sides on the ice, oftentimes turns into one-timer, but you can see the percentage of scoring that goes, where it goes, average shooting percentage to a Royal Road percentage, just the blossoming impact of what that means. That's an ideal, that's cross ice. This is another ideal. Just for me, the other part is like making a pass that goes by the goalie's far shoulder. Don't get me wrong, there's a fundamental involved. There's a vision, there's a passing, there's a reception, there's a shot, there's all those pieces. But as far as can we put ourselves in scenarios that we constantly are, like most people in the world are going to shoot this puck, most. Until you can find a clear pass shooting that says, am I going to weasel it through a defender or two, or am I going to find the guy that's going to have an opportunity on the back door that's frozen the goalie and has a clear pass shot? And then there comes this part, point shots, and this will be the biggest argument you probably have today in conversation when you leave here or when we are here. I hate point shots that have no traffic. I think I am not into it. That's just me, and this is my opinion on this. I do know this, 1% of the time they score. That doesn't seem like a favorable number to me. Not into Moneyball, but I'm into that number. 3% of the time, with traffic, they do, don't get me wrong, they do affect rebounds, they do, but I would tell you the puck recovery on a point shot is a very low puck recovery because you're using only the D are out. They shot from the blue line. They're not keeping pucks in. Now, vice versa, when and why, numerical advantage at the net, do you have take to shoot at, do you have a rebound of a deflection? The other part, strategic intent, would be the idea that you get the puck back. So, on both sides of this, I can just tell you, for me, like I think it feels good when you've got your D rifling pucks at the net and the volume is going up. And don't get me wrong, there's rebounds and there's loose pucks. But at the higher levels, there's less rebounds and there is no loose pucks. And the defenders are pretty good at tying people up. So we talk about offense in more of a power play scenario with, like, I don't care how many people at the blue line. If there's one at the blue line, great. I'd prefer one at the blue line. D or forward on the wall, almost in a 1-3-1 scenario. We keep a lot of pucks in because of it. You get a lot of work with defensemen working across the blue line. And the middle player, which we'll get into a lot here, is just working. So the replaceable, the trap, meaning the trapezoid, and the anchor being the anchor player, the net front, they're one and the same. I'm not a big fan of a guy sitting in front and just getting absolutely abused by cross-check after cross-check. I'd like to arrive in front, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be late in front. There is a progression to timing of it, but I don't want to find myself not getting there. Clear pass shooting, and then quality of shots. And I just think on the offensive zone retrieval, because of the place from the players, you're on top of getting pucks back. And then why possession versus volume? I kind of wanted to go through a little scenario. You're going to score, okay? If you had the puck, you're going to draw a penalty. If you didn't draw a penalty and the possession change, you're right on top of it. The sustained pressure to force an icing, get back to a face-off in the offensive zone. If they get it out, can you have a neutral zone re-entry? If you don't have a clean re-entry, can you get back to a forecheck re-entry where you get the puck back? Can you force an opponent to take a timeout? Like that cycle of possession, for me, just is not, it's nonstop. And I don't think it's the easiest thing in the world. Like you're going to watch, if you go to the game tonight, you're going to watch a D come down the left side with no one in front. I can name the numbers of the D that are going to do it. Now I'm going to show you some pieces in practice where they don't do it, but I'm going to tell you the game, like the instinct takes over. So it's going to take some work. Offensive situational muscle, the muscle and routing, that's a big piece of what we like to talk about. Can they understand time and space? And then the situational reads of deception with, stick, toe caps, heels, ideals of hands of the player that you're either playing with or against. And then some situational growth. Just on that side, we constantly are trying to build pattern recognition to what this is. I'm in a predictable offense. I think there's, people could say, oh, offense is for artistry. I'm all for it. I think it's great, but I'd like to give them a piece of something to use their art on. And it's probably easier when there's 5 guys that know what's going on and how I can get open. Repetitious learning. I'm totally into messy practices. You're going to see plenty of blunders on here. I got asked last night a question about, when do you stop it? I stop it when it becomes more than a one-off. If it's a common theme problem throughout, then I'll probably stop it more. If it's not, if it's a one person, we spend more time grabbing people in line, giving them more reps, making them learn through repetition versus stop. I want guys going. That's just my philosophy on that. Little drill here, Edmonton warm-up. You guys will get this too, and I will easily create an MP4 for you guys too. That'd be easy. Edmonton warm-up is just, it's going to be a net front replacing player who's going to go low to high, and then we just run through all of the scenarios offensively. So in this case, D to D, run down and shoot. They're going to deliver it with a bad goalie. There's still an anchor there. There's still a rebound player. Net front player leaves, low to high. Net front player replaces. So we've got somebody here, okay? He arrived. This is early for us, so we were building right now. I wish I would have taken maybe, there's a sample, maybe a practice of yesterday, but to get there and then to be coming through dot lanes on weak side pucks. The next part, same thing, same format. We just changed the repetition. Okay, so it's D to D, and the D are going to chase their pass. So low to high, trying to get into a 1-3-1 look. So they're going to go D to D. At that point, they've got a top, they've got a flank, and they're able, in this case, D to D. The D's going to shoot. And then we just keep building through reps, adding passes, adding players, taking away options, those people, and then obviously making sure we're getting the rebounds. This is probably just a wider view of it for ourselves. On the D to D, the weak side flank, people are like, oh, how do you get a puck through there? Well, I think instantly you're going to be teaching a power play concept to every player on your team, which for me is powerful in the idea of development. They got to learn how to play away from the puck. Can we get the middle player out of here? Can the middle player slide down? Can the middle player slide for backside ice? Can the middle player get closer to the net and more of a rebound scenario? So we just continue to build all the way through on all these scenarios. When we go through, obviously fundamentals are going to be cracked, and the newer the player for us, the more likely they probably botch it up a little bit. We do a lot of forward and D splitting. I'm very much into, I'm into shooting. I think the guys got to learn how to shoot. I just do. I believe that they need to know how to shoot. With the one-timer, they got to be able to receive on a backhand, still get a puck off. I'm not a big tire cone. I mean, there's going to be some tires on here, and they'll never be used for I'm not into all the apparatuses you see on the ice possible, like the sliding dummies and all the things out there. I'd rather understand the opposition would be the coach, the stick placement, the heel placement, and spatial awareness they have. So we'll go through, in this case here, we do a lot of things that start. So this is a double cutback. So player down low, easy cutback, side slot. Player goes to retrieve. Bumper's got to move above the puck, side slot. Both sides going. I get a goalie out of here. Everyone's like, you should have a goalie. I don't disagree, except for I want massive reps. I don't want a goalie to complain that they're going to get hit by 2 pucks at one time or slowly get in or out of the net. In this scenario, this is our entire forward group going at the whole time. I think we're teaching the idea you got to go recover a puck. You got to go get to a puck. You got to adjust as a bumper. You got to learn how to wipe out and stand up. Get every piece of it. So we do a lot of a lot of this presentation, the rest of the way will be about this. I've added tires here because I want spacing. And I want the guy to not stand behind a tire and not be open. And you'll find a lot of players, I leave a lot of loose pucks around. I don't care. I want them to have a vision for a path. I want them to have a vision where to get open offensively away from the puck. And the tires are doing the same thing. Oftentimes those pucks and tires are the best defenders you can find. They constantly get hit, and it's frustrating as a coach at any level. But when you're going out here, can they learn how? So then we keep adding. So in this scenario, just a rim collection. Can we collect the rim, get our eyes up, be able to make the next play? So they collect the rim here, make the side slot pass, and then in our mind, which you'll see here in a second, the shot will be denied, and then you got to find the extra pass. I just think it's really important that players can gather information prior to accepting a puck, understand we are in a clear pass shooting. Don't get me wrong. Can't shoot, slide, position ready away from the puck, hand ready away from the puck. So we're just constantly trying to make an extra pass. Now, that's a tough defense right there. Again, I told you that tire, he's a Norris winner. So just understanding the guys, and I'm telling you, and it's a real deal. Like, you can either have your players practice for practice or practice for situations. Can you put situational skill into it, or are you just going to do repetitions of practice? So rim collect here, again, now I'm going to add myself. So when they collect the rim, they're going to find a side slot player, and now they're going to make a play underneath my stick. So my stick was up, they made the puck down. You're going to see another play where my stick is down, they're going to make the puck up. I'm not trying to trick them, I'm just trying to get them to get their eyes up, to find another player, to find another situation. I'm going to ask, can you pass it through a triangle of a stick? Can you do all of the things that see space? For me, the space away from the puck, this player is mega responsible to get open for that pass. My understanding of what's going on over here before I touch it is the gold. This is a half wall exercise we do, kind of stole. I think we're all in the stealing business as coaches as far as what we've seen. I'm a thief of a lot of things that I see something that I like or I want to add, or vice versa. I watch too much video at times where I see another team do something like, ooh, can I add that to us? Or vice versa. He's a really talented player. What makes him so good? And how can we put that in with our own guys? So this is we consider the half wall a gate. Anything between the goal line and the top of the circle, there's an entry gate to get into the middle ice, the interior ice, which we find extremely valuable as a coach and as a team. So the gate entry will be simple at first, and then we're going to add reads and sticks to it to make simple. So simple is going to be puck recovery, and you're going to slide between the two players. Bottom player just goes to get it. You could definitely be doing both sides same time. This is a small group. Guys aren't quite on the ice yet. We've just started. When more guys join, we'll have a bigger group coming. But as we go up, can I get up and can I get through the gate that allows me to enter into an offensive area? And then as we continue to grow, we're going to add like just on sticks. So now it's going to be half wall. You got to read the top player's stick. So if the top player's stick is down, then we would find the entry above them. If the top player's stick was up, then I've got to learn how to get inside. And you're not trying to trick the player. I'm trying to get their brain to work before they've got to make a decision. But the decision is made because of what was presented to them, not because of dive left on two and we only go between the guard and tackle. That's it. Like, it doesn't work that way in hockey. So we get in different pieces, and then as we grow, now we're going to add more pieces to this because it's good. They understand the concept. Now can they make the next play? So now same gate entry right here, same gate entry, same gate decision. We're going to add an offensive player away from the puck and myself to make a decision. Am I going to pass or am I going to shoot? So when they go through the gate, if I take away a pass, then he's got to come in and shoot. If I add the layer where, man, my clear path to the net is gone, then I've got to be able to make a pass away from the puck. Like, as simple as that is. I know you all have assistant coaches. I know we all have, you'll find some, it's probably not in this video, but I'll take the goalie that's not being used. The goalie that's not being used, they got $3,000 worth of pads on. They could be the guy that gets hit by a puck every now and again. You hope they get hit by a puck when they're in the net, not when they're out of the net. So these phases, though, for us is we've got to keep growing. We've got to keep not only changing mind, but we got to change the habit of the player away from the puck. Because if we want to get into the whole 5-man, it's going to take the person at the puck and away from the puck, which we'll talk about. Another little drill we do, which is really easy and people always ask about it, I just think it's the easiest thing in the world, is continuous one-time shooting. So the pass goes from the from the high to the low. I did this last night with squirt to Bantam coaches. Like, pass goes from the high to the low, I give it back. He's going to open, he's going to work down the circle, and the shooter's going to get open in the side slot like he'd be settling in for a shot. Both sides, same time, just different reps, different looks. You know, it's practice. So do I want a backhand pass? Yeah, I'd love a backhand pass. Do I want a backhand pass that's slow, that would never beat a goalie? No. So we've got to improve. So there's some messy times where I will make the passer, you can only use your backhand. That's all you can do. Or, and I'll make the shooter out here, I want you only on your onside, so you got to collect different. If you're only on your offside, you can take one-timers. But it's just continuous. Again, there's no goalie. The goalie doesn't slow the pace and the rep down, but allows us to keep going. The next layer of this would be, can we add to the next pass? So you'll see the same exact piece coming up, and they're going to go down. I'm going to make the same play to the same guy, and the previous passer from the other side is going to set up in a one-timer, so I can make a clear path shot. And at first, you're going to be like, whoa, I didn't want to do that. That's like the two running backs that collide in the backfield type thing, you know? They'll figure it. They will figure it. The best part about it is when they actually get the puck, they're going to get their eyes up, because that freezing time of freezing the goalie is collecting information for over here. Now can I make my delivery to a clear pass shot? If we can find more offensive away from the puck, when you start to multiply and stack opportunity, I find players just grow. The growth of a player is facing the puck. The growth of a player is their spacing away from it. And then the last shooting one we'll talk about before we get into the hole is just one-timer. We do 3 stations, simple half wall, collect, okay, and then to the one-timer on the side. So both sides are doing the same thing. It's a little cut back to a one-time shot. The guys on the top, we'll talk about this here in a second. I'm passing to them. Sorry, they're passing to me. The first guy in line here is going to pass to me. He's going to get off and open on his offhand. I'm going to give it back right away to the next player. And they are now going to take one-timers. So now you've got 3 different areas of the rink, 3 different ways of shooting. Everyone's moving. They're not standing around. For me, it's the most collective way to get as many shot reps as we can. I don't want guys to miss one-timers. If you want to ask about last weekend when we split at Michigan, I'm more upset that we missed our opportunities on Saturday out of this. Like, the number of clear pass shots that we missed the net on is nauseous. So we got to continue it. We grow on it every day. It's a big piece of what we want to be able to do away from it. This next view will be just for it, so you can see like the whole angle of it. The goalies are having a session down there, but we've got forwards and Ds. That's everybody in our group just combined. My coach is having coffee on the red line, but no. I really encourage our guys to get involved, our coaches, to help when they see failure or they see success. Can they help people in line? Can they help people in line? Can they get people organized away from the puck?